Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 3 of the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season, hosted here on Gran Turismo Sport. You saw a moment ago 16 drivers on the grid here for what has become most of these drivers' favorite event on the calendar for the GT Cup Series, Blue Moon Bay Speedway, the triangle-shaped oval, and it's the first of 2 oval events this season for these NOSSCAR GT Cup Series drivers. Ned, the Canadian, is on the pole. Bill Baldwin, 2-time Super GT champ, is in second. Jesse Carlson is in third. The green lights are on, the fans are on their feet, and these drivers are rocking and rolling into turn 1. Still a 60-minute endurance race. Still fuel and tire wear ×2. No custom tuning to these drivers. All the same rules apply, but we are oval racing, folks, tonight. 2 different worlds collide: NASCAR style racing and GT Cup style racing. Dodge Vipers, Mazda Atenzas, Chevy Corvettes, Nissan GTRs, Audi R8s, and more, all featured in today's race. 16 drivers from 4 different countries represented in the field. Leaderboard is on the left side of your screen. The top 5 beginning to break away from the rest of the field. Drivers from 6th through 10th seem to be grouped up pretty well, led by JRB in the 6th place position. Jamie Bunzel, driver out of Great Britain, running there in 7th. Running 8th is Bo. 9th is Timac, the Canadian, and rounding out the top 10 in that beautiful PlayStation Nissan GTR. Nice paint job there for Jeffrey Robinson Jr., the highest running driver from France. Beam SKP in the number 16 Dodge Viper. 2 NOSSCAR Tailgate Truck Series wins for him in 2021. Both of those were on NASCAR Heat 5. There is Alan Richardson, scored in the 12th place position. Former NOSSCAR champion on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition, long-time NOSSCAR driver. There's Kenny Stump Jr. in 13th. Cameron Norton in the Hyundai car, running in 14th. There's Axel Burry running in 15th for Team France here. And Alex Tesdall rounds out the field there in the Ferrari. Back up towards the front, 2-time NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion Bill Baldwin scored in the 5th place position, trying to run back down the top 4. Folks, the draft is going to be a major factor in this one. If these drivers could get spread out from the rest of the field, they might not see them for the rest of the race. Some of these other drivers are well aware of that, and they're trying to work their way up through the field to try to keep with the race leaders. Jamie Bunzel from Great Britain now into 6th. Timac, the Canadian, up a couple of positions to 7th. They both were able to get around Bo just a couple of laps ago. Top 10 have separated themselves from the rest of the field. 60 minutes is a long time, folks. These drivers will be thinking about tire and fuel strategy throughout this one. Still 13 drivers within striking distance of getting back into the draft with the leaders, and they're still all chasing the Dodge Viper of Ned. Both the Vipers running 1-2 right now. Footman right behind them in 2nd. Remember, folks, Ned and Footman were the winning duo for the Rolex 8 for the GT Cup class, and that was also round 1 for the GT Cup Series season, so they both were tied for the points lead going into round 2 last week at Willow Springs, but Footman, unable to attend the event, did not score any points for that race, and now finds himself behind his good friend Ned, who is now the current GT Cup Series points leader. Jesse Carlson, number 48, Ally Chevy Corvette, scored in 3rd, just behind both of the Dodge Viper cars, the Twisted Tea team, and the 2-time NOSSCAR World Champion. Even Steven in the Audi R8 scored in 4th, right there with these drivers. And again, folks, the top 4 trying to drive away from the rest of the field. The second group of cars being led by the 2-time Super GT champ Bill Baldwin, but there was contact between he and Jamie Bunzel just a moment ago, and that was nearly very costly for all of these drivers. They're all so close together. and I think that would have sparked a big wreck back there on that back straightaway. Every now and then, the second group of cars comes to life a little bit, and they get a little bit closer every time they go down the long front straightaway. This track, very similar shape to Pocono Raceway, just a whole lot shorter of a distance. Very fun, very strategic racetrack. These races being 60 minutes long. Opens the door for all types of strategy here in this one. The series debuted and was established back in 2019. The very first winner here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway was the Canadian of Timac. Custom tuning was on for that particular series. It was Bill Baldwin parking it in victory lane for this event last year. He's currently scored in 5th, and time will tell. He will stand on the podium at the end of the 3rd annual Blue Moon Bay Grand Prix. Still all chasing Ned. Top 4 broken away, but like I keep mentioning, Bill Baldwin's still right there. Almost close enough to get the draft with the 4th car in line of that front group, but Jamie Bunzel out of Great Britain is not making it easy on Bill. He keeps making a move to the inside, and now it looks like Timac's going to go searching to the outside for some draft down the long front straightaway and give the 6th place position to the Nissan GTR of Timac. And then immediately he dove to the inside of Bill Baldwin, trying to make it stick in turn 1. Couldn't quite make it stick. Bill's going to surge back out in front. Back single file, and he's going to hold on to P5. You got to believe that Jamie Bunzel could have easily made a move there, and Timac elected not to. The only Aston Martin in the field is Jamie Bunzel, and he's trying again back to the inside to take the 6th place position away from Timac, and he will. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. had a front row seat for that entire battle. The 2 Nissan GTRs have now worked their way up into 7th and 8th. There's Bo in the Mazda Atenza trying to work his way closer towards the front. Right now currently scored in the 9th place position. JRB rounding out the top 10, was up there in the top 5 at one point in this race. Minor contact with the outside wall cost him the draft with the lead group, and now he's trying desperately to hang on to the draft with the 2nd group of cars. And the 3rd group of cars is being led by Kenny Stump Jr., Alan Richardson, and BSKP right there behind him. 16 drivers started this race. 18 drivers attempted to qualify for it. And it's Cameron Norton in 14th, Scorpion in 15th, and Shadow in 16th, rounding out the rest of the field here at Blue Moon Bay. Well, it's a party now, folks. We're working the 8-minute mark here. We're a little bit past that. These drivers are on lap 12, and as you can see, the battle for the lead is now 10 cars wide. Well, maybe not wide, but 10 cars deep here. They're all lined up nose to tail for the most part. There was a battle side-by-side a moment ago there between Bill Baldwin and Even Steven, but it has settled down. And as I mentioned, 10 drivers, the top 10, all lined up single file using the draft with each other. And one of them is going to try to pounce every now and then. As you can see, Even Steven trying to pounce for 3rd there. Jesse Carlson, every now and then these drivers looking out to the bottom, going to make a move, heading into the next corner. 2 Nissan GTRs, Timac and Jeffrey Robinson Jr., they're down on the bottom. They scored in the 7th and 9th positions. They have 2 cars above them there. It's Bill Baldwin and Jamie Bunzel. JRB right behind this battle, and as you can see, it actually allowed the top 5 to get out in front a little bit, and Bo is going to be able to clear Even Steven for the 4th place position. That puts the 2 Mazda Atenzas in 4th and 6th, Bo and Bill. Two Dodge Vipers running up here at the front for Twisted T Racing. They are running first and second. Team SKP is also running a Dodge Viper. He's scored right now in the 13th place position. It's round 3 of the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season. 3rd annual season for the GT Cup Series. It's a very special event, folks. We said it at the top of the broadcast. One of the favorites, if not the favorite, for most, if not all, of these drivers here in the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series. Very, very wild event, very exotic event here. Two worlds collide whenever they come here for this race. NOSSCAR style racing, GT Cup style racing. 3 very different turns from each other. The draft is very important. Strategy is very important. And good decision making is very important. And the running order in this group is changing almost every corner. You can see now the Canadian timeout breaking up the back of this group. JRB has gotten around him. He's now scored in the 9th place position. And I have the feeling up at the front they're playing very nice with each other. I think that Jesse Carlson in that 48 car has had an opportunity to make a move to the bottom or the top side on the 2 Dodge Vipers and has elected to just stay tucked in line, keep that 48 car in the 3rd place position and just play it safe for now. I feel like the top 3, top 4 maybe even are just kind of taking their time. They know that there's a lot more racing left in this one and they don't want to make any major mistakes. They don't want to take a chance and put themselves out of this one or maybe even lose the draft with the leaders. And problems for the 48 machine. He goes up the hill right in front of even Steven. He's going to lose 3rd. There was almost contact with Bo. Bo was able to lift just in time to dodge the chaos. Bill Baldwin, Jeffrey Robinson Jr., they had to get on the brakes just a little bit. There's still 10 cars in this pack, but it was nearly catastrophic for the drivers running about 3rd on back in this lead group. 16 drivers still left on the racetrack. The leaders are working. Lap 19 here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. It's the first of 2 oval races this season for these GT Cup Series drivers. They will go to Northern Isle Speedway later this season. Very similar racetrack to Bristol Motor Speedway. What an event that will be. You will not want to miss it. Hit the like and subscribe button here on the NOSSCAR Series Racing YouTube channel to follow the 2021 action. These GT Cup Series cars, you'll see the Chevy Corvettes, you'll see the Dodge Vipers, Nissan GTRs, Audi R8s, you name it. They're all here, all your favorite rides, and all of your favorite NOSSCAR drivers that you have also more than likely seen in the World Championship and the Super GT Series as well. Some cars going 1 lap down. They're being very nice to the race leaders. You saw Bean SKP, the driver out of France. He's currently scored in the 16th place position. Last car on the racetrack, coming off a strong podium finish in the 2nd round for the NOSSCAR World Championship. Having a tough time with that number 16 Dodge Viper here today, but thankfully for him and the manufacturer's points, his good buddies Footman and Ned are having no problems. They've been running 1-2 for most of this one. They were the winning duo for the GT Cup class for the Rolex 8 race and therefore took the points lead to start the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season. Since then, Footman, unable to attend round 2 last week at Willow Springs, lost the points lead, but Ned, after a solid top 5 finish there at Willow Springs, was able to hold on to it. And he comes into Blue Moon Bay Speedway today as your current points leader. Oh, no traffic just in front of your race leaders. Shadow in 14th, Strider in 15th. The two American drivers drafting with each other to try to make up as much speed and as much time as they can. And they're going to go to the top side. The leaders going down low. Even Steven, Bo, Jesse Carlson, they all followed their way through. In fact, the 48 of Jesse Carlson jumps to the inside of Bo to try to capitalize on the opportunity from the lapped cars to take the 4th position away from Bo, but he couldn't quite do it. Outside line seems to prevail down the long straightaway, especially the front straightaway. All the cars gravitate back up towards the outside wall, of course, for the straightaways, and that extra draft, that speed that they get up there is often enough to hold on from the challenging car underneath them. Kudos to Beam SKP. Picked up 2 spots actually ever since he went a lap down. He was able to get in behind the top 4 cars, top 5 actually, and stay in their draft, and that's actually allowing him to run some really solid lap times right now here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, and he's been able to pick up 2 positions in the process. Was able to pass Shadow and Strider, and as many NOSSCAR fans know, every point counts here. There's no playoff system for the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series. Anything can happen, and it comes down to every point. Top 6 have broken away a little bit, and here's the battle for 7th and 8th. Jeffrey Robinson Jr., Jamie Bunzel runs 7th and 8th. Ty Mack has lost the draft with the lead group, currently scored in 9th, former winner of this race. Top 5 finished last year in this one. Currently scored outside the top 5 right now, though. And it looks like Kenny Stump Jr. is actually going to come to pit road and surrender the 10th place position. Not sure if this was a planned and scheduled pit stop made by this team, discussed earlier today or not, but nevertheless, that Nissan GTR comes to pit road. There's Scorpion out of France, running in 12th. Cameron Norton, former NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series race winner. Cameron is scored in 13th. Now they're both going to take a position from Kenny Stump Jr., who is on pit road. All 16 of these drivers still active and on the racetrack. 18 drivers in total attempting to qualify their way into this event. We're all chasing Footman. And Jamie Bunzel is also on pit road. He surrenders the 8th place position. And these must be scheduled pit stops here at the 18-minute mark. The problem is they might not be able to make it on 2 pit stops. They're probably trying to make it on fuel for the 20 and 40-minute marks, so make it a 2-stop strategy and pit at the 20 and 40 marks. But pitting here with 18:30 and 18:10, that's a little bit short, that's a little bit early, and we'll have to see how it all unfolds. Very long race, and we know that it might come down to strategy. Ty Mack was able to win this race in 2019. Some fuel strategy, or else he was more than likely going to finish anywhere from 3rd to 5th on that day. Jesse Carlson goes below the yellow line on the back straightaway. That is a classic NASCAR-style signal to let the drivers know behind them and in front of them, if they're looking out their mirrors, that he is coming to pit road this time by. We're coming up on turn 3, and pit road entrance will be on his left side in just a couple of moments here. Oh, and at the very last second, and a little bit of a wild move even, Jesse comes to pit road along with even Steven, Ned, and Footman. Ty Mack as well is coming to pit road. This is going to leave Bo on the racetrack for now with the race lead. And second place is Bill Baldwin, not too far behind him. A couple of cars that are 1 lap down are in between these two. And that is Team SKP in 11th and Siltstrider in 12th. So the Mazda 10s is running 1-2. They have yet to come to pit road. Must be good fuel mileage for those 2 cars, and it could come down to fuel mileage in this race before the end of this one. Do they have the right strategy, folks? We will find out as the race goes along. We're working the 20-minute mark of this 60-minute endurance race here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, third annual NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season, hosted on Gran Turismo Sport. Bill Baldwin stays out an extra lap. He'll lead one. Looks like he's coming to pit road this time. He's letting a couple of cars go by him. JRB in 13th, Shadow in 15th. They're both one lap down. They're just in front of him. Actually, I believe Shadow's one lap down, trying to avoid going 2 down right here in this particular situation. And JRB trying to stay on the lead lap in 13th. Still no pit stop for the 2-time Super GT Series champion, Bill Baldwin. He stays on the racetrack. He's still your race leader. And here he comes finally at the 24-minute mark, pretty much the 25-minute mark. And that might pay off for him as the race goes along, having a bit more fuel. And this should cycle Footman back to the race lead here Blue Moon Bay Speedway, and it does as they thunder into turn 1. It is a 5-car group battling for the lead. Beam SKP, the driver out of France, running in 8th, yet to make a pit stop either, and he's kind of hoping for some sort of fuel strategy to pay off for him as well. Amy Bunzel runs in 9th. Tomac in 10th, the Canadian there. Silt Strider 11th, Kenny Stump Jr. in 12th. This is all a battle for position. 13 cars are on the lead lap after the cycle of pit stops is complete. JRB is in 14th, the first car 1 lap down. You saw just a moment ago, he lifted to let the leaders go. Don't know if he meant to lift as much as he did, though, because he completely lost the draft with the top 5. Two-time NOSSCAR World Champion and former NOSSCAR GT Cup Series champion, Even Steven, right there in 3rd in the Audi R8. Been in the top 5 pretty much all race long, unless there's been a cycle of green flag pit stops. And race number 15, Audi R8 is looking strong, looking fast, as it does literally every time we see him here in the GT Cup Series. Jesse Carlson scored in 4th. Bo rounding out the top 5. You're watching the battle for the lead, and we're going to do a good old-fashioned crank it up, folks. Grab the volume knob, turn it sky high, and take a listen to these NOSSCAR GT Cup Series cars right here on Gran Turismo Sport. It's the 3rd annual season for this series, established back in 2019, and here we go. Crank it up at Blue Moon Bay. to get back down, folks. We're going to bring you back to full commentary, round 3 of the 2021 NOSSCAR GT Cup Series season, hosted right here on Gran Turismo Sport, coming to you live from Blue Moon Bay Speedway. And man, what a race it's been so far. We've seen so many different leaders. I've seen a lot of different lead changes. We see a couple of different pit strategies forming, and we see exactly how important the draft really is at an oval track like this one. The top 4 have broken away from the rest of the field, and a lot of that has to do with the draft. They're working together, not making life hard on each other whatsoever, not costing each other any time on the racetrack, and it's allowing them to kind of cruise away and be in their own zip code, not have to deal with the entire 16-car field. Jamie Bunzel scored in 5th at a Great Britain, having a good run in the Aston Martin. Might actually be gaining a little bit of ground on the front 4. Could even be some fuel consumption underway from the top 4, and they might be using the draft to allow themselves to do that without losing too much track time. Timac leading the second group of cars, running in the 6th place position. Bo in the Mazda Atenza right behind them in 7th. And it's Jeffrey Robinson Jr., former NOSSCAR champion on NASCAR 15 Victory Edition and Supercross. Scored in the 8th position. The Team Nissan GTR looking pretty strong here today, but they've been kind of mired and stuck in the mid-pack region despite their good speed. Bill Baldwin running in 9th. Kind of on his own, though. He's got a couple of cars with him that he's using the draft with, JRB and Cameron Norton, but they are both 1 or 2 laps down. I believe Cameron is 2 laps down JRB, the first car 1 lap down in the 14th position. Scorpion out of France, rounding out the top 10, and a good recovery for Beam SKP in the Dodge Viper. There was one point in this race where he was actually scored in the 16th position and fading even further away from the competition in front of him. He immediately jumped up into 14th after the leaders put him 1 lap down, used the draft with the lead pack, stayed with them for a while, and has persevered and worked hard to get himself to where he is now, and that's knocking on the door of another top 10 finish in the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series. It's now Bo the Racer leading that second group of cars, and Jamie Bunzel has caught the lead group in that Aston Martin, and he's not done there. He's jumping to the inside of a couple of them. He's already picked up P4 from the 2-time world champion, Even Steven, and now he's trying to get another one from Jesse Carlson in that number 48 Ally Chevy Corvette. He's actually pretty much got him clear now. He's going to do it. He's going to get in line. It looks like behind those 2 Dodge Vipers. No, he isn't. He's coming to pit road. And this is all happening at the 37-minute mark. Bo the Racer is also coming to pit road, and that is definitely an unscheduled pit stop. Bo was one of the last cars to pit under that last cycle of pit stops. And we were kind of expecting Jamie Bunzel to maybe be a little bit short on fuel when it comes to the 2-stop strategy, and that might be what we're seeing right now. As you can see, it's a long pit stop for him. Ran that fuel tank completely dry. Bo the Racer has still quite a bit of fuel left in the tank for his pit stop, but the lead group has not changed. They're all still chasing the 2 Twisted Tea Dodge Vipers, Footman and Ned, doing a terrific job in this race. Coming up on the point in the race where they're going to be thinking about their second green flag cycle of pit stops. Some of the other leaders already making their way down pit road for their second scheduled pit stop of the event. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the Nissan GTR was one of them. His teammate Timac is another. He'll surrender the 6th place position. The top 4 all peel down pit road at the same time at the 42:50 time mark of this race. there's a lot of cars left on the racetrack that have not made their last pit stop of the event, so the running order is very shuffled. Right now it's Bill Baldwin, Jesse Carlson, Beam SKP, your top three, but many of them still having to come to pit road for their final scheduled pit stop of the race. Bill Baldwin leads. He's the two-time NOSSCAR Super GT Series champion. He's the meat in the sandwich here with two cars that are one lap down. One fighting to stay on the lead lap, and one that is currently scored 3 laps down in the 16th place position. So Bill kind of needs to be a little bit careful here, but the one thing he knows is JRB is a good friend of his, just in front of him, and is also his teammate there with the Mazda Atenza team, and he knows that he's not going to do anything wild and crazy to jeopardize Bill Baldwin's lead, whether it be temporary or permanent. Because again, folks, Bill's going to lose this lead once he comes to pit road for his final pit stop of the race. Working the 49-minute mark of this 60-minute endurance race here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. And we're still expecting some cars on pit road. And this is the battle right here for the win once Bill Baldwin makes his final pit stop of the race. Jesse Carlson bounces off the wall a moment ago coming out of turn 1. He clears Footman, and they are battling hard to be the first car in line right here, which would also be second on the leaderboard, because this is for the win. I don't think that Bill's going to be able to make it on the fuel that he's got, and Ned just squeezed even Steven up into the outside wall. And we're getting a report, NOSSCAR officials are really watching this battle. Some warnings have been given out here. And now the Twisted Tea Dodge Vipers are in second and third, and they have their sights set on Jesse Carlson. Not many other drivers have led laps here in today's race other than the Twisted Tea Dodge Viper team. Not much time left in this race, under 10 minutes remaining. And each and every one of these drivers have a shot to win. There's Bo the racer. Remember, Bo pit very, very early for the second stint. I don't know if he's got the fuel to go to the end or not. And problems for Jesse Carlson, who's going to lose the lead here. He's going to lose second place, and eventually it would have been the race lead. Footman with some contact moves Jesse Carlson up the racetrack, and it's going to give him P2, and it's going to give his teammate Ned P3. All of this happening behind Bill Baldwin, who's got to make a scheduled pit stop here still before the end of this one. And it's a heartbreaker there for the youngster, for the kid, Jesse Carlson, who's still looking for that first GT Cup Series win. And he's all over the back bumper of the two Twisted Tea Dodges. The Audi R8 of Even Steven runs in P5, just behind them, and it's Bo in the Mazda Atenza, scored in 6th. Gotta wonder if Bo has the fuel to the finish or not. All of these questions are gonna have answers within the next 8 minutes or less. Bill Baldwin has brought that Mazda Atenza onto pit road for attention and for scheduled service. He's back onto the racetrack in the 5th place position, and this has given the race lead to Footman. And here comes Even Steven to the inside. It's 2-on-1 pretty much though. Ned giving a huge push to Footman down the long front straightaway here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, and that definitely was able to, that was the difference maker for that drag race that we just saw. Now, the Audi R8 of Even Steven again with a huge power move to the inside, this time heading into turn 2. And he's there now. He's alongside Footman. Ned still giving Footman a heck of a push. This is going into the final turn now. Even Steven still holding the bottom strong. Minor contact at the outside wall for the leader, Footman. It's this long straightaway, the front straightaway, where the start-finish line is. That's the longest one on the racetrack. That's the one that's really killing the momentum of Even Steven the most. Anytime that Ned and Footman can work together down that long straightaway, It's enough to save them every single time. Scorpion gives way for the race leaders. The driver out of France lets the top three go. Under 5 minutes remaining at Blue Moon Bay, and it's going to come down to one of these three, unless something catastrophic happens to all of them. Looks like it's going to be one of their days here tonight. Or here today, rather, at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. It's round 3 of the 2021 season. 16 drivers started the race, 18 attempted to qualify their way into the show. Bo and Bill Baldwin battling for 4th and 5th. Just behind them is Jesse Carlson, running in 6th, getting a little bit of draft there from JRB. The first car 1 lap down in the 12th place position. Timeout in 7th. UCJ's teammate in 8th. Jamie Bunzel in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Beam SKP. Strider has been working with Beam for a lot of this race. They're still drafting together, running in 10th and 11th. Got to wonder if the gloves are coming off for Strider, though, towards the end of this one, knowing that we keep track of top 10s around here. The leaders are coming up on them. 11 cars are on the lead lap as of now. Footman is your race leader. We have under 4 minutes remaining. Under 3 now. Question is, does Even Steven have enough time? Does he have enough car? Because he's going to have to take on both of these drivers if he's going to change the outcome of this race. And with a power move, Ned has actually taken the race lead from Footman. Here's the replay. Contact with the outside wall for the driver out of the USA. Oh, but it came afterwards. Looked like Ned gave him a shove going into the corner, and that's all it took. He used the inside line, and he took the lead from his teammate, and now put the Canadian Ned out front here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. The crowd is on their feet. The 2 American drivers trying to win in front of their hometown crowd. And Ned trying to spoil the party. How does Footman answer? What's the counter move to that? Under 2 minutes remaining in this race. Ned being very protective of the bottom, and I don't blame him. That's where pretty much every pass has been made here today, except for the outside line with the draft down the long front straightaway, which they're working right now. Minute and a half left. Third event that the NOSSCAR GT Cup Series has ever held here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway on Gran Turismo Sport. History always made here. It's become one of the crown jewel events, one of the favorites here by these drivers. 2 worlds always collide whenever the GT Cup Series comes to Blue Moon Bay Speedway. Good old short track NASCAR style racing, GT Cup Series style cars. It's a whole lot of fun. The leaders are working lap 81. And I believe that they're going to hit the line before the clock strikes 60, the 60-minute mark. And therefore, we're going to still have one more full lap of action before we crown a race winner. And here comes the power move from Even Steven and a big block from Ned. Even Steven ran right into the back of Ned. And now up the hill goes Even Steven and Ned. There was heavy contact made with both of them. Footman slid past his teammate Ned. But there might be a penalty there to Even Steven. The officials are all moving up there in the booth, and that was a wild, aggressive move. Footman now trying to get to the inside of Even Steven in case there's no penalty called. A lot of the other drivers are finishing their race. The top 3 come out of the final turn, and we are being told there's a penalty to the 2-time world champion, and it's going to be Footman that wins the race. Honestly, I cannot believe it, but we are confirming it. There was a very hard block by Ned, and even Steven drove right into the back of his Dodge Viper as a result. And that's not where the penalty originally was. The penalty came afterwards. Even Steven drove Ned all the way up into the outside wall in turn 1. Definitely wasn't happy with the block. Footman was able to get around some of that, but he wasn't able to clear Even Steven, and we are confirming Even Steven has been penalized. Ned has been penalized, and Footman picks up his second career NOSSCAR GT Cup Series win in the GR3 cars. Thank you to all the viewers who tuned in to round 3 of the 2021 GT Cup Series season. Congratulations to Footman, and we will see you for round 4 next time.